Now, obviously, before entering and asking you the last question, is that what does COVID into all of this? What has been the influence of COVID towards the industry as in general? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, COVID has mainly caused isolation amongst the elderly population. Elderly often experienced this situation as being in prison. The feeling of loneliness has led to even unnecessary deaths. That's really sad. So new building concepts, which are pandemic proofed, will be the challenge. Communication of the elderly to the outside world will need to be ensured as all times for these people, no matter what the situation is. And this was a big problem. So this is why the use of digital tools in the right way, of course, becomes very important.
Yeah. No, very, very interesting. What a crazy time. So many things have been happening over the last 6 to 12 months. The macroeconomic situation, what people are expecting, our governments, I mean, all the social aspects. If I would ask you, what is huge storm today that has hit our society, if you would summarize it to the major opportunities and threats that actually, and what changes it has not given to the market, could you give some your perspectives towards that?
Yes, certainly. I think if we look at the traditional generic term of care homes, particularly in the UK, there have been many bad stories about big instances of COVID in those care homes where everything is communal. And of course, a lot of people end up in care homes by default. It's not an aspirational choice. It's not something that anyone wants to do, leaving their own home. And that's given a very great focus upon how we care for our aging population. If we look at the biggest growing sector in the UK and in the US, already in Australia, already in New Zealand, we've seen the growth of the retirement village and the focus on retirement villages, where people live independently and they have their own kitchens, bathrooms. They don't need to leave their own apartment. They have everything in one place. And we've seen quite a lot more interest in people moving out of their own home into a retirement village to make a step earlier in life where they can be aging in place, cared for when they need care. And I'll come back to loneliness. Loneliness is one of the things that people have really suffered with everywhere because they've been locked down. They haven't had access to friends and family other than through digital means, and that only takes you so far. And as it has gone on and on and on, that technology has enabled people to connect, but it's also reminded them of what they're missing, which is why technology is a great enabler, but it's also highlighted the issues of how far it can go, and it can never replace the importance of and the need for human contact.
Do you think it has changed the expectations of the seniors towards the market and what they expect from an operator or a solution provider? Do you think also from the investor perspective?
Yeah, I think it has. I think it has, and I think it's really going to change in two ways. I think people's perspective on moving will become more pronounced. I think they'll be very demanding because they are boomers. As I said, they've been used to the better things in life. They think more of a 5-star hotel if they're going to move out of their own home. And funnily enough, we've seen quite a bit of movement from investors and also hospitality providers where there are distressed assets in hospitality looking to be repurposed for senior living. So it's coming in from the perspective of hospitality rather than just a care-led offering, which just reminds people of their own human failings. And that's not something anyone particularly wants to be reminded of. So I think there's a good opportunity for hospitality sectors, the hospitality sector across Europe. We've already had interest from resort owners in Southern Europe to repurpose part or all of their offering to show people, particularly in cold, frozen Northern Europe, where I speak today. We have the snow here in the UK. You don't have it in Switzerland.
Exactly, today not.
It's spring already with you.
Yeah.
But I think once supply starts to get people thinking about what they can do, and marketing pushes the information and the knowledge about what retirement living could look like, there's going to be far more interest in people making inquiries about how they could live locally, nationally, and internationally. So that's going to push, I think, a fair bit of interest.
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez que l'impact du Covid aura sur, si je peux considérer tout l'écosystème de l'habitat senior en un, qu'est-ce que ça sera comme impact sur cette industrie et sur son potentiel?
L'impact le plus fort, c'est que l'image négative des hommes, personnes âgées, a augmenté parce qu'ils ont eu des problèmes. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont été infectés dans certaines homes. Et ça veut dire que maintien à domicile, et aussi les relations voisinage, les relations digitales, intergénérationnelles, ça va augmenter. Le changement des institutions au maintien à domicile va être forcé. Et aussi, on va probablement entrer dans une phase où tous les modèles d'habitat encadré, habitat avec service, ça va être au milieu du départ. Parce que les hommes, par exemple, une perte de réputation.
Et peut-être des hommes de les positionner plutôt vers vraiment la dernière phase de la vie et de créer encore une phase avant. Les gens
Oui, même la dernière phase de la vie, on peut avoir des petits groupes de soins, par exemple 5 à 7 personnes qui vivent dans une structure protectée, dans une hospice, pas des grosses institutions. Oui, probablement. Ce qui va, la pandémie va renforcer quelque chose qu'on a trouvé dans le bouquin, dans l'étude, que la satisfaction avec l'habitat plus lié au voisinage, au appartement soi-même. Alors ça va augmenter tous les projets sur de voisinage, d'amitié, des personnes âgées qui aident d'autres personnes âgées, des réseaux peut-être un peu digitalisés. Et c'est qu'on voit que la digitalisation, les structures modernes sont très efficaces, mais seulement s'ils sont intégrés dans des structures sociales déjà connues.
Ah, ok. Oui.
Alors, l'effet, par exemple, de la télécommunication, la communication digitale chez les personnes âgées est plus grande. C'est des relations avec des gens qu'on connaît déjà.
On connaît déjà, oui, tout à fait. Là où c'est peut-être aussi l'importance de la famille, d'avoir directement aussi la famille, le voisin directement, très facilement lié. Non,